In this video, I'm going to show you guys my favorite intentional toys that have found a home in our minimalist family. So if you are looking for a great gift for any child ages 4 to 6, then I hope you'll find this video helpful. And I would love to hear in the comments down below if there are other intentional toys and gift ideas that you think I have missed for this age group, because you guys always have such good ideas and I love reading your comments on the videos. So when my kids kind of hit this 4 to 6 age range, what we had done is in the 0 to 4 years, we had kind of built up the base of their toys, I guess, through Christmas and birthdays and with relatives giving gifts and things like that. And then as they got into this 4 to 6 age, we were able to expound upon the toys that they really liked and really lean into what their interests were. So most of the things on my list are going to be along the lines of the things that my children are into. But even if your kids' interests at this age are very different than mine, I hope this will give you some ideas for different things that you can do in your family and maybe some hobbies or already favorite toys that you could lean into and gift more of during any holiday season or any birthdays you have coming up. So the first thing, yes, I have mentioned this in the other videos, but I think it definitely still holds in this age category, and that is dolls. I'm showing you the girls' dolls this time since I used my sons in the last one, but these are their 3 little dolls. Now, by the time my girls were 4, and already by the time my son is 2 now, they all have their doll that's kind of their young doll, the one without hair, the soft body, and more what I think my girls would call now their baby dolls. But what we did, because they already really were invested in this hobby, is we leaned into that during the holidays. So this wooden cradle was actually mine when I was little. I think it was an uncle or a great uncle made it for me. I can't quite remember, but I saved it. I did not save a lot of things from my childhood. I've just really always kind of been a minimalist with things like that. Even my childhood things, I got rid of most of it. I just have one small box. But this was one thing I saved just in case I had a little girl someday, and I am really glad I did because it's really well made. Now, I know a lot of people in my other minimalist and intentional gift idea videos for kids have said it's not cool to give kids secondhand things, but I gave this to my oldest daughter for Christmas, I want to say when she was 3 or 4, and it has been something she has loved ever since. She still uses it. She still stores her dolls in it. This is where they sleep every night. And I'm just really glad that I ended up hanging on to it. So for my second daughter, I thought, well, I don't have another cradle to give her, and I want to make sure she has something special too. So my dad actually made her a doll bed for Christmas when she was, I want to say, 4. And both the cradle and the doll bed get played with almost daily, even still. They are 6 and 9 now. And they're just things that they really love since they were already into the dolls. Another way we leaned into this doll hobby was we got them strollers, which they still really like, and they actually told me to make sure I included on this list for this age range. For all of these lists that I have done in these videos, I actually made the list and then I read it to the girls at the dinner table and said, what else should I add? And they said, make sure you say the strollers and the doll carriers. Now, the carrier I already put away, but I did talk about that one in the 2 to 3-year-old video, so you can check that out if you want to see it. But it's just a soft carrier, just like moms wear with their babies, and my girls definitely use that a lot. And now my son is actually using it. He likes to use it for his baby or stuffed animals to be able to kind of carry them and wear them around. So both of the girls really enjoyed that when they were in this age range. The middle one still will use it from time to time. The older one now, it's getting to the point where it doesn't fit her anymore. Another thing that we have done and the girls really enjoy is doll clothes and doll accessories. The first one with my oldest, when we didn't have a ton of doll clothes, my mother-in-law actually made her doll clothes for her dolls, and my daughter absolutely loved it. Now we have quite a few doll clothes, but I would say that is still one thing that my children enjoy very much. And that's actually one of the big things that they will use their personal spending money for, is they like to buy doll clothes for their dolls. So I would say if you have a child that is into dolls, definitely doll clothes is another way that you can't really go wrong. Another way we leaned into this doll hobby is we got a doll car seat for the girls. And again, it kind of seems like a big thing. It took me a little while to get this one. They asked for it for a little while before I finally said, okay, you actually do want it. It's not just a phase that you're going to outgrow. But it's actually worked out kind of the same way that the cradle and the bed have. They play with it, and then the dolls stay in here when they're done being played with. So they have all of these lined up in their room, and they put the dolls kind of to bed when they're done playing with them. So this is one that I probably, if it had been up to me, would not have included. I like more the less plastic route with a lot of these things. I know the dolls are plastic, but I just prefer not a lot of plasticky toys. But I will say this is one they have loved, and I really like it when they have a hobby, just leaning into that and not thinking, oh, they already have doll stuff, so let's get them something different. I prefer to say, oh, they really like their doll stuff. How can we add to this? How can we enhance it? How can we make it even more fun and interesting for them to do this thing that they're already into? Now, another thing, if you have a child in this age range who is into the baby dolls that they already have, something my girls really liked at this age was dolls with hair. They like being able to learn hairdos and try different things out on the dolls because they actually sit still, unlike their sister, and they have a lot of fun just playing with their hair, doing their hair. And I have to show the other one too, because otherwise the girls will say, why didn't you show that one? So these are their 3 dolls with hair that they will play with, and I feel like they play with these ones more like they're big kids. You know, they'll have sleepovers and things like that, whereas the other ones, they more rock to sleep and pretend they are the babies. So they play with them in a little bit different ways, and they have enjoyed having both. Now, I know not all kids and even not all girls are into dolls. They have several friends that couldn't care less about dolls, and that's okay. But my point with this is just to show you how you can lean into a toy or hobby that your kids already have, as opposed to thinking, oh, they need something completely new and different. Something else that my girls said to make sure that I mentioned in this video is stuffed animals. One of my daughters is really into stuffed animals. She has probably 10 or so, and she really enjoys them. The other one, ironically, the one that said to make sure I put it in the video, does not have any. And that's not because we haven't gotten her any. It's because she will ask for one, we will get her one, and then about a month or 2 later, she'll say, I'm done with this. You can put this in the pile of things to sell. And yeah, she just doesn't play with them a lot, but it's funny. She said, make sure you say stuffed animals. But they have both enjoyed very much these Squishmallows. I would not have thought these were something that children really would play with. When I originally saw them in stores, I thought, wow, that is crazy. I can't believe people are buying those. But someone got them for the girls as a gift when my son wasn't even born yet. And all 3 of the kids have loved them, so we got this one for him. But they sleep with them. They will bring them on trips as their car pillows / buddy stuffed animal thing. And even the one child who is not into stuffed animals like the other 2 are will bring hers along, and she really enjoys it. So the reason I mentioned me being so unsure about this at first is because my goal is always to just get them things that they are going to love and use consistently, or play with consistently. It doesn't have to be use. And this was one that surprised me. I would not have believed my kids would enjoy it as much as they have, but all 3 of my kids with their very different personalities have really enjoyed it. So I was proven wrong with these, and this can be a great toy for your kids as well. Now, another thing that my kids have really enjoyed in this 4 to 6 year old age range is cooking. So one way we have leaned into that is with getting them little aprons and cooking sets. And I showed this in the last video also. My sister got these for my son, and they are kids' knives. So they're completely plastic. You cannot cut yourself with them, and they're just really good knives for kids, but they actually work. So you can cut cucumbers, you can cut lettuce, you can cut tomato, and they actually work surprisingly well for what they are. And my 6-year-old really likes them. She likes being able to do it by herself. I have started teaching her how to use a knife, but she often prefers these just because I don't have to watch as closely and she can actually do it all by herself. So if you have kids that like cooking, things like this can be great. My mother-in-law actually made the kids little aprons that are super cute and reversible, and they've all really enjoyed those. And for my oldest, she actually made this little hat as well, and my son actually loves wearing this thing around. It's fun to have a chef's hat on, right, when you're cooking, and he thinks he can't quite cook without it. So things like that are really fun for kids, and I like ways to get them involved in things that are going to be things they do for life in a fun and interesting way. And this is definitely a way that you can do that, especially if they already have an interest in cooking. Another thing my kids have loved at this age is something that a lot of people on the internet disagree with me about, but I'm telling you, it's amazing. Backpacks, purses, and wallets. My kids have all loved being able to have things that they can stuff things in and take with them. Maybe my kids are weird like that, I don't know, but they've really enjoyed backpacks. These have been great gifts for our kids, and this was actually, I believe it was last Christmas, my middle daughter's request. She wanted a purse with a strap. When they were real little, they had these purses that you could hold on the handle, but she wanted a purse with a strap because her sister had one, and clearly it's a far superior purse. I mean, come on. So yeah, if your kids like things like that, my kids have really enjoyed it. But I have heard on my other videos that it's not a good idea to get your kids backpacks. So do with that information whatever you like. I stand by it. I think it is a really good gift for kids still. My kids have all really enjoyed having those types of things. Another thing that our kids have enjoyed at this age range is craft supplies. And I got this bag, I want to say my oldest was 4 or 5, somewhere in there, for Christmas, and it has been absolutely amazing. It holds all of their coloring books, all of their watercoloring stuff, all of their supplies. I mean, they've got paintbrushes in here, they've got the markers, sharpeners, pencils, everything. They've even got some scissors in here. And what I love about this thing is if you only have 2 kids, it fits nicely in between them in the car. Now that we have 3, they will put it on the floor underneath their brother's feet so they can all reach it. And it makes traveling so much easier because our kids used to put a bunch of coloring stuff into their backpacks, and then stuff would just end up everywhere, and we would have so much more of it because they would have to individually take it, and they both thought they needed the same things, and so it would just cause more disagreements. Whereas this thing, it's just everyone's craft bag. We don't have to worry about packing things in our own bag, and I highly recommend it. It used to be also that whenever they would get out the craft stuff, it would be a huge mess. And once I got this, it's very clear that everything goes in here, and they know how to put it all away and make it all work for the most part. Sometimes they need a little bit of help, but it stays so much neater. They can come down here and use it if they need to. They can be up in their room, and it's just really easy to get it out and use the craft stuff whenever they want. So if you have kids that are into crafts, coloring, things like that, I highly recommend a bag like this. There are a bazillion of them on Amazon, different styles. This one is Everything Mary, and it has lasted really well for us. You can even, if you want, there are these like dividers in here. We have them all closed up now, but if you want to divide it up, you can. And I've seen people using these as knitting bags or other things like that too. So this was a great gift. We got our kids, again, I think it was around 4 or 5 when we got this for my oldest, and it has been worth its weight in gold. It's been absolutely amazing. It's just nice to have it all in one contained portable area. And if you do have a child that's into coloring and things like that, something else my kids really enjoyed and continue to enjoy even after this age range is watercoloring. So there's another idea for you if you have a child that enjoys doing artistic things. Something else that my girls have really enjoyed around this time when they were between the ages of 4 and 6 is musical instruments. So our church was actually offering a free ukulele class, and my kids went to one of them. I wasn't sure if we were going to do it because we already have the other instruments that they do. They do violin and cello, and I didn't know that I really wanted to add another one, but friends were letting them use their ukuleles and try it out, and they both had a blast. So I asked the leader, I said, how do you feel about guitars? Can they do guitars, or does it have to be ukulele? I just personally prefer guitars. That's just my personal preference, so I wanted to see if we could maybe do small guitars. And they said, oh yeah, absolutely. Whatever they prefer, bring it, and they can join the class. So I took the girls to our music store that we love, and I let them try out guitars. I let them try out ukuleles. The oldest one chose a guitar and she said, this is what I want for my birthday. And the younger one wasn't sure. She was going back and forth. She liked the guitar. She liked the ukulele. She ended up settling on a guitar. This is a 1/4 size guitar and it is adorable. It doesn't hold a tune super well, but it works pretty well for the size of guitar that it is. And it's a full guitar, all 6 strings. And I will say in this 4 to 6 age range, I kind of wish my middle daughter had chosen the ukulele. She can do it, she can reach the chords, but it is still just a little bit big for her hand to go from the G chord to the C chord, as you have to do a lot when you're learning. So she often does end up a little bit frustrated at the class because the ukulele chords are just a lot easier. It's a smaller instrument, there's only 4 strings, and she can keep up okay with the guitar when they're doing like the first song, the warm-up that has 2 chords in it. And then as soon as they add in 3, 4, 5 chords, she can't quite keep up. She will often end up trading with one of the other kids. There are some older kids who also know how to play guitar. And she'll say, can I try your ukulele? And they'll say, yeah, sure, I'll try your guitar. And they'll kind of switch around. And whenever she has a ukulele, she really enjoys it and she's able to keep up a lot better. So I'm thinking about trying to find her a ukulele still. And I know my sister's daughter, who's in that age range as well, got a ukulele and was able to learn it quite easily. So you can do a guitar, but if you want to go the instrument route and you aren't sure, I would say a ukulele could be really good at this age. Of course, there's also recorders if your constitution can handle that. I have an easier time listening to stringed instruments, which I know some people much prefer the other, but yeah, you could do recorder. Both of my girls started violin around that age and they really enjoyed getting things to go along with that as well. But I think between 4 and 6 is a really fun age to start introducing them to instruments. And even if it's not something they stick with forever, you can have a lot of fun with it, especially if you learn along with them. Something else that my girls have really enjoyed when they have been in this age range is a real glass tea set. I showed you guys the tin tea set in the last couple of videos that they enjoyed when they were really little, but the glass tea set has been something that they have had a lot of fun with as they've gotten older. And with the glass ones or the ceramic ones, whatever it is, you can actually pour tea and, you know, kind of use it as an actual tea set. So that's something else you could always, if they enjoy the tin tea sets when they're little, you can upgrade them to a real tea set when they get a little bit older and are able to be a little bit more careful. One thing we got my middle daughter last year for Christmas as kind of a hobby exploring toy, she was interested in learning how to build things and learn how to woodwork, is we got her a tool set. And I showed you guys this in one of my other, actually it may have been 2 years ago now, one of my other what I got my kids for Christmas videos, and she absolutely loves it. And I really like it too because these are real tools. They are weighted. You can actually pound in a nail with this hammer, and all of the tools are weighted and real, and you can actually use them if you want to do any woodworking. This set is a Shawl brand, but I'm sure there are others out there, but this is one I know for sure is real tools. So I wouldn't get it for kids too young if they haven't learned not to throw things yet. It could be a little dangerous, but if they're responsible and careful with things, this can be a really fun thing for them to do. And she loves having her own tool set. My dad builds a lot of things. My father-in-law also was a carpenter. And whenever they're here, my husband usually has something he needs their help with. And as soon as the guys all start kind of gathering around something that they're going to fix, she runs to the garage, grabs her tool set and says, here, you guys can use my tools. And she really likes it when they will use her tools. She says, just be careful with them and put them back when you're done. But she really likes being able to kind of help out and get involved with building things. So if you have a child that's into something like that, this is a great gift as well. The tape measure is real. They've got safety goggles. I mean, there's everything they need. They've got some gloves in here. There's scissors. There's, let's see, that's a screwdriver. I'm not as into tools, so she knows more about it than I do. So what we did is we got her this tool set since she was interested in learning to build things, and we also got her some bird houses to build. And she and my husband pretty much, I think it was all day Christmas Day, just sat down and built bird houses with this little tool set, and they both just had a lot of fun with it. So definitely recommend this if your kid is interested in building things. Another thing I recommend for this age range is some sort of pieces gift. Now, you don't have to do all of them. You don't need Legos and Lincoln Logs and Magna-Tiles and erector sets and racetracks and all the things. Choose maybe one or two to really focus on, and you can even make it a fun tradition to add to it every year if your kids are really into it. So we have Magna-Tiles like I showed in the last video, and I would say this age range is definitely one that can really get into this. They can use their imagination. My middle daughter has a lot of fun with this, and because she has fun with it, also my 2-year-old has fun with it. When I just sit him down next to the Magna-Tiles, he doesn't really know what to do quite yet. But when she sits down and plays with him, he has a lot of fun building and taking apart and all of those things, as long as someone will play alongside him. So especially if you have multiple kids, this can be a really fun, bigger gift to give to the whole family. Another thing that we have really enjoyed in this age range is what I would call hobby exploring gifts. So at 4 to 6, they don't know what things they're going to be into for the rest of their life, but you can ask them if they have any interests that they would like to explore, and they will tell you if they're interested in building things, like my middle daughter was. That was something she had been interested in learning more about, so we got her some things and we let her try it out. Now, she hasn't asked about it since then, really. She'll use the tools, but she hasn't once said, hey, I want to build another birdhouse. And that's okay. We actually asked her recently, hey, is that something you would like? And she said, oh, yeah, that was fun. But it wasn't anything she was passionate about. So she was able to try it. She was able to realize, oh, that's not really something I want to spend all my time on. And it was still a good time. She enjoyed doing it, but she just learned, oh, that's not a hobby I want to pursue. So it can be really fun to kind of let them explore different hobbies around this age. And I know for my oldest, she actually did find her hobby. I believe for her, it was 7. So it was a little bit older, but my sister gave her a bath bomb making kit. And she had such a blast with that. That's actually how she got into soap making, which is still one of her favorite things to do. So you can find some kits, I believe it's Klutz brand is how you pronounce it. They have so many different hobby kits, and you can see what types of things your child is drawn to. You may already know if they're into Legos. They actually have some fun Lego kits that you can do to kind of enhance the hobby and to learn with the things that your child is already interested in. They have friendship bracelet making ones. They have all kinds of things, bead making, keychain making, bath bombs. They, I think, also have soap ones too. But it's a fairly inexpensive way to kind of explore if they have something they think they would be into before you really dive in with both feet, because generally the kits come with just about everything you need, like the bird houses. That kit came with all the nails, all the wood, everything we needed. We didn't have to invest too much to kind of see if she actually enjoyed it. And for her, it wasn't something she ended up wanting to do, and that was okay. But if she had enjoyed it, we could have invested in more of the tools and more of the things at that point. So I really enjoyed during this age range with both of my girls, kind of exploring different hobbies, finding things that they would be interested in, and then adding to those hobbies during future Christmases or future birthdays. So like I said, once I had my favorite things figured out and the things that I thought were my kids' favorite things, I asked them if there was anything I should add to the lists. And the child who is currently 6 said snow skiing. So every year my dad has gotten the girls a ski day with just them and Poppy, and they absolutely love that. That's one of their favorite things. They look forward to it every year, and he takes them one-on-one. He takes them up to the mountain for a full ski day with just him. Now, I am going to be doing a full video coming up soon on experience gift ideas, because those are honestly my favorite types of gifts. I love being able to connect with my kids that way. I love it when they can connect with their grandparents that way. And I love it because it doesn't add just needless clutter to the house, but still it gives a very meaningful gift. So be sure to keep an eye out for that video. Subscribe if you haven't already and you would like to see it when it comes out. Another thing I was told to add to the list is bath bombs. Every year we get our kids bath bombs in their stockings, and I love those because they are consumable and they're still a lot of fun. The kids really enjoy it. It's something special that they look forward to every year. So that's a stocking stuffer idea I definitely recommend. And then the last thing for this age range that our children have really loved is subscriptions. So one year, I believe, I actually can't remember if it was my mother and father-in-law or my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, but one of them got our kids magazine subscriptions. I think it was my brother-in-law's family, now that I'm remembering, but they got the magazine subscriptions. So every month or every other month, I can't remember when it was, they got Ranger Rick and the other one that goes along with it for their proper ages. So they each got a magazine, and the kids really loved that. They looked forward to getting the mail. They enjoyed going through the magazines, and it was kind of a nice way all through the year to remember their family that lives farther away. And then another thing that our kids really enjoyed, I believe also from my brother-in-law's family, they got them subscription boxes, which was really fun. Again, they looked forward to getting the mail. They had activities that they would do with the boxes. And again, it also makes them think of family members that aren't here and reminds them that they love them. So I think it's a great idea if you live far away from somebody and want to kind of give them reminders that you're thinking about them throughout the year. Well, guys, I did it again, and even though I was looking at my list, still forgot one of the things right in front of me that I wanted to mention for this 4 to 6-year-old age range, and that is games. Our family has kind of made a tradition of buying a new family game every year, and we try to make it one that is age appropriate for the most part for the most people. Some of them they've had to grow into a little bit, but we try to make it so that at least most of us can enjoy the game. So when they were even younger than this age range, 2, 3 years old, we would also still find games that would work for those ages, like Candyland, memory games. What are some other ones? Chutes and Ladders. We have a Bible game that's very similar to Chutes and Ladders called the Book Game. It's one that I grew up with, and I still really enjoy playing it with the kids. So I would say most of those were probably around 3, sometimes 2. They would like the memory games, but it kind of depends on the kids and their developmental ages and all of those things. But definitely by the time they are 4, our kids at least have really gotten into games. Again, this is something my husband and I have always loved. We love board games, and this is one area we are not minimalists. We have a lot of games. We just really enjoy having game nights with friends, and it's something we've loved since we started dating and have just continued to really enjoy. So because of that, our kids have obviously seen us playing games a lot. They like to participate and have kind of joined in with the fun of playing games, and we try to find a game every year, at least one. Sometimes it's multiple games that the kids would continue to enjoy. So for this age range, one of the really popular ones at our house is Uno Attack. And this is a game that I grew up with, although the kind that I had was not this sleek and modern looking. But when you have to draw, you hit the button, and instead of just one card, you sometimes will get 10, or sometimes you'll get none. And it kind of randomizes the game a little bit and makes it fun. It can go from somebody who's winning to that person definitely not winning in just one round, depending on how the game plays it. So this is a really fun one that our kids have really liked and they continue to like. It's one I still enjoy playing. That's one big thing that we try for with the games, is to find games that are fun for the kids, but also fun and challenging for my husband and I as well, depending on how we want to play them. So some other games we like at this age are dominoes, especially if you can find a set of dominoes, which are pretty easy to find now, with colors as well as the numbers. So it makes it easy for even kids who aren't really counting yet to be able to just match the colors, and they don't have to worry about being able to read or get the number exactly right. So that can be a fun game for this age as well. Also, some dice games can be fun. Those ones are pretty simple, at least the ones we have for our kids. I know they can be more complicated. I know also they still enjoy Candyland, Chutes and Ladders, those types of games as well. And another one of our favorites at this age is called Pretty Pretty Princess. And the goal is to get all of the jewelry through spinning of your color before anyone else does. But that one's super fun. That's another one that I grew up with. And yeah, we just as a family really like games, game nights, especially in the winter. So that's a tradition of ours that we like to do every single Christmas. I would love to hear in the comments down below other ideas that you guys have, maybe other hobbies that your kids have been into in this age range, other toys, especially if you have boys, because my list in this age range clearly leans girl because my girls are either past this age or in it right now. I'm sure in a couple of years I'll have some updated ideas when my boy hits this age. But if you currently have boys in this age range and you have favorite minimalist toys, please leave those in the comments. Or if you have girls that are into different things than mine are, I would love to hear those ideas in the comments as well. And I know other moms would love to hear your ideas too. As always, I'm Kassy with StreamlineYourHome.com, and my goal is to help you get 7 extra hours back in your week. So if that sounds like something you would be into, be sure to subscribe down below, ring the bell next to it, and I will see you on the next video.